In the fast-moving world of business, stories of success and failure come and go like changing seasons. But every once in a while, there comes a story so sharp, so poetic, and so unbelievably satisfying that it feels less like real life and more like a tale told around campfires or whispered in boardrooms. This story belongs in that category, a real-life legend inspired by events known in corporate circles across Asia. It begins with a man named Marcus Chen, a man who rose from nothing, was pushed aside by the people he trusted most, and returned years later with a twist so clean and calculated that it became a quiet myth among executives. Marcus Chen did not grow up wealthy. He wasn't born into royalty or privilege or influence. He was born in a small apartment above a tailor's shop, where his parents worked long hours to keep food on the table. As a child, he studied under flickering lights during power outages, using borrowed textbooks that were 2 editions out of date. He sold phone accessories, fixed broken radios, and sometimes worked in a local factory stacking boxes just to help his family get by. Hardship shaped him, but it never broke him. Instead, it built a fire inside him, a fierce belief that he could shape his destiny through persistence and strategy. By the time he reached his early 30s, Marcus had carved a reputation in the business world as someone who could fix anything. A sinking department? He revived it. A struggling team? He motivated them. A failing strategy? He rebuilt it from the ground up. His name became synonymous with precision, patience, and quiet power. So when a mid-sized tech company called Zenith Core found itself on the brink of collapse, the board hired Marcus as their final hope. He became their CEO, stepping into a crumbling building of fear, confusion, and financial chaos. Within 3 years, he transformed everything. He cut unnecessary expenses, modernized their outdated systems, brought in partnerships that competitors never saw coming, and launched products that made investors lean forward in excitement. Under his leadership, Zenith Core went from shaky and desperate to stable and growing. Employees admired him. Managers respected him. Investors trusted him. But the problem with success is that not everyone wants to see it, particularly not those who secretly hope for your failure. At the top of Zenith Core were a group of board members accustomed to being the smartest people in the room. Many of them inherited their positions or gained them through connections, not competence. And as Marcus rose, as the company transformed under his leadership, the board felt something they had never felt before: insecurity. Some whispered that Marcus was becoming too powerful. Others claimed he was too independent. The truth was simpler. He made them look small, and small people rarely celebrate the greatness of others. Their insecurity slowly fermented into jealousy. Their jealousy matured into fear. And fear in the world of business often morphs into betrayal. One Friday afternoon, Marcus entered a boardroom expecting a standard quarterly review. He carried reports, charts, and plans for Zenith Core's next international move. But the atmosphere was different. Every board member was present, every chair was filled, and there was a heavy silence that had nothing to do with business. He sat down, waiting for the meeting to begin. That's when the chairman, a man who had never accomplished even half of what Marcus had done, cleared his throat and delivered the blow. "Marcus," he said, "your services are no longer required." At first, Marcus thought he misheard. Then he scanned the faces around the table. Stiff, uncomfortable, avoiding eye contact. The decision had already been made behind closed doors. They didn't want a discussion. They didn't want clarity. They wanted him gone. He tried to speak, but the chairman cut him off. "It's been voted on," he said. "This is final." Moments later, security escorted Marcus out of the same building he had saved. Employees watched in shock as he walked through the lobby carrying a small box of personal belongings. No one dared move. No one dared speak. In the corporate world, loyalty often bows to fear, and this moment was no exception. Marcus did not shout. He did not argue. He simply left, quietly, calmly, but with a storm growing inside him. For 6 months, he disappeared from the business world. No interviews, no statements, no social media. To outsiders, it looked like he had been defeated. But Marcus wasn't hiding. He was recalibrating. He understood something the board members never considered. They removed him from the company, But they didn't remove his knowledge, his network, or his ambition. So Marcus built something new. He started a small tech venture funded by private investors who trusted his vision. The startup grew quickly, fueled by Marcus's experience and his understanding of what modern markets needed. He didn't sabotage Zenith Core. He never once spoke against them. Instead, he simply created better systems and stronger products, solving problems he knew existed because he had spent years trying to fix them inside Zenith Core. Within 4 years, Marcus's startup became a rising giant. Investors were lining up, partnerships were forming, competitors were sweating, and though no one said it out loud, everyone knew Marcus was on track to surpass Zenith Core entirely. Meanwhile, Zenith Core, without Marcus, was falling apart. Profits dwindled, projects stagnated, innovation disappeared, investors grew restless. Talented employees resigned in waves. The board members who once felt threatened by Marcus's popularity now found themselves drowning in problems they were incapable of solving. It was during this moment of weakness that Marcus made his move. Quietly, strategically, he partnered with investment groups and shell companies to buy shares of Zenith Core, little pieces at a time, sometimes 1%, sometimes 3%, sometimes entire blocks sold by desperate investors eager to escape the sinking ship. Because his name never appeared on the paperwork, the board had no idea who was accumulating ownership. They were simply relieved someone still believed in the company enough to buy. Over the next 18 months, Marcus continued acquiring shares until one morning, the chairman of the board opened his inbox to find a notice from the stock exchange. A single controlling entity now owned 52% of Zenith Core. The chairman panicked. The board called an emergency meeting. They scrambled to identify the mystery buyer. When the new majority shareholder requested to attend the next board session, the truth finally surfaced. The controlling owner was Marcus Chen. Shock rippled through the boardroom. The same silence that filled the air the day they fired him returned. But this time the power dynamic was reversed. When Marcus walked back into the building, employees stared the way people stare at a living legend. He stepped into the boardroom, but he didn't take his old seat. He took the chairman's seat. The chairman opened his mouth, but Marcus spoke first. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't insult anyone. He simply laid a folder on the table. A folder containing termination letters for every board member present. "You removed me because you feared losing control," Marcus said calmly. "Today you have lost that control entirely." One board member tried to protest, insisting it was unfair, insisting it was too harsh. Marcus responded with a slight smile and said, "I'm not removing you out of revenge. I'm removing you because you are unfit to lead." The entire board was dismissed that day, respectfully, legally, and without any personal hostility. Marcus didn't need hostility. He had already won. News of his return spread like wildfire through the company. Employees whispered in amazement. Some even cried. Under Marcus's new leadership, he reinstated salaries that had been cut, resurrected abandoned projects, and brought back brilliant staff members who had been sidelined under the previous board. One senior engineer told him, "We thought we lost everything when you were fired." Marcus simply replied, "You only lose when you stop trying." In the weeks that followed, Marcus rebuilt Zenith Core from the inside out. Within 2 years, the company soared to its highest value in history. Investors celebrated. Employees thrived. New technologies were launched that made Zenith Core a global competitor once again. And then, in a quiet corner cafe, the former chairman requested a meeting. He arrived early, nervous and unsure. When Marcus finally walked in, calm and composed, the chairman whispered, "I misjudged you." Marcus sat down across from him. "No," he said, "you didn't misjudge me. You misjudged yourself. You believed removing me would make you stronger. But removing me removed your only chance of succeeding." The chairman looked defeated. "Was it worth it?" he asked. Marcus finished his tea and stood up. "I didn't buy the company to hurt you," he replied. "I bought it to protect what you tried to destroy." He walked out and never looked back. Under his leadership, Zenith Core became a symbol of resilience, strategy, and poetic justice. Marcus never bragged about what he did. He never mocked those who wronged him. He didn't need to. His success spoke louder than any words. Because true revenge isn't loud. It isn't messy. It isn't emotional. True revenge is silent, patient, strategic, and it arrives looking like unparalleled success. Marcus Chen became a legend not because of what he lost, but because of how he reclaimed it. His story remains a reminder that you don't need to fight people who underestimate you. You don't need to prove anything to those who doubt you. All you need is patience, focus, and the courage to build something so strong that the doors once closed to you eventually open by themselves. And when you return, you won't return seeking revenge. You'll return carrying victory.